Listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live. Sorry, I just choked on some water before we started there. Terrible start to the podcast. Hello, welcome back to the Claret and Blue podcast. My name is Dan Rownson and I'm joined this evening by Matt Kendrick earlier than ever because I've got back in record time this afternoon from Villa Park. Aston Villa 2, Brighton 0. Steven Gerrard's 100% win ratio. What a lovely afternoon at Villa Park, Matt.
Well, you might have choked, mate, but Steven Gerrard's slippy villains, as I think I've seen them called on social media, certainly didn't choke. I thought it was very similar to the Everton game earlier in the season where you thought it could go either way. But at the end, Villa's last 10 minutes was so impressive that you thought, well, we probably could have won this by more goals, to be honest. I don't know. I thought, listen, it's easy to proclaim, the king is dead, long live the king, in terms of the Dean Smith to Steven Gerrard baton passing. But I think as much as it was important to stop that rot, to kick the Gerrard era off with a victory, I think Gerrard would have seen today the challenge on his hands, to be honest, especially, as we've said it time and time again with the midfield options that he's got. But, you can't ask for any more, can you? Clean sheet, 3 points, whole 10 banging, Villa Park rocking. A very successful, effective day one, I suppose, in the or match day one in the Gerrard in the Steven Gerrard revolution.
Yeah, but by all means not perfect, and Gerrard himself said that in his press conference. There's still lots to do, but we'll get to that shortly. Just give me, I know you've kind of just gone through it anyway, but kind of give me a 60-second, 90-second kind of review of the game, if I had to say, right, go through it, the 90 minutes in full. Just so I like to start this way. I've got to get it out of my system.
Look a bit fuzzy now you've gone in the close-up on me. I thought it was a bright opening start. I thought McGuinness looked really lively for the first 15 minutes. I think Brighton probably came for a draw and used the ball well enough to frustrate Villa and slowed the game down, along with the help of Anthony Taylor. I thought was well dodgy. To
say the least.
I think it was one of those ones where you thought, are we going to be frustrated? Obviously, Martinez has made a couple of good saves first half. You'd probably say that after the first 10 minutes, they edged the first half, I'd say. And I think it just built. I think it was me as the fan in the stands, chuntering and muttering away. I thought he took off the wrong one. I thought he should have left things on and put took Watkins off. Lo and behold, Watkins goes and conjures up a brilliant breakthrough goal. He's made the call to put Ashley Young on. I thought Ashley Young, the way he set up the goal and brought the ball out, was probably the moment of quality that the game was lacking. Agreed. From a Villa point of view up until then. After that, it just, it probably could have been 3 or 4 in the last couple of minutes. Obviously, Leon Bailey's had that effort on goal that's been palmed away. And then Watkins, rather than burying it, has done a step over, I think, and a complete air kick. But it was just so important for this new era to start with a win, because it's a really weird sensation today, because we've said before that the former manager's not been chased out the door. You normally have a situation where people are glad to see the back of the former manager, and I don't think that was the case. So Gerrard had to come in against the back. It wasn't like, in previous manager changes, it's been kind of night and day. We got really fed up with that bloke, the new bloke, clean slate, go and run with it. And I think for the first half, I felt it was a little bit subdued at times at Villa Park for that very reason. And I was also, I know this is a long 90-second answer. I was also, it was very Steven Gerrard, the way that he didn't want a big announcement. He wanted it to be kind of an understated, team comes out first, I'll just walk down the touchline, wave to a couple of you, clap to a couple of you. And I actually thought that might have counted against us at first, because I thought we needed like a rousing fanfare to stir the place. But it was measured, and I like that. I know we'll speak about this in more depth, but I like the way he was at the final whistle as well, the way he was ushering everybody towards the Holt end and telling people to go and take their applause. And, going halfway towards the whole end, but almost kind of standing back and saying, this is the team. This is the team that we need you to support. I just thought it was a nice display of how measured he is, and it was a touch of class. But yeah, 3 points, and given some mad results elsewhere across the Premier League today, it's a desperately needed and desperately appreciated 3 points.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with all of what you've just said there. I think there was a stage during the game, 70, 75 minutes, I was getting ready, because I always watch the games now knowing we have to do these afterwards. And I'm starting to think, good, positive start, atmosphere is good at the start, but ultimately fizzled out to a 0-0 and it stops the rot. But, that's not great. And then 84 minutes, I think it was, Watkins starts playing centrally and absolutely bangs in his goal. Well taken. I've seen it back on my phone on the train since. I think El Ghazi makes a good run to open a bit of space as well.
I was screaming for him to pass. I was giving it out, slot it. Thank God he didn't. Thank God he
Also, the way the move started as well. I think it was Nakamba blocked an effort in the box. Then I'm just thinking, clear it, get rid of it, and he plays it to Young, and he almost sidestep somebody and plays Watkins through from his own half, and all of a sudden you're throwing on goal, and Watkins absolutely buries it, and the atmosphere lifts again like it does to 2:59 in the afternoon. It was a bit flat at times, but that's. The performance was flat as well, wasn't it? Like I said, I was very much prepared to come on and say, well, the pressing is better in the start, but ultimately we haven't been that much better today. But all of that goes out the window when you win 2-0 and get a clean sheet after 5 straight defeats. It's our first clean sheet since the last time we won as well. So, Gerrard himself in the interview mentioned how important that was. So we started well for the first 10, 12 minutes, and then we ended well for the last 12 minutes or so. Everything in between that was pretty flat, really. But I was never massively threatened by Brighton either, to be honest. I thought it was going to fizzle out to 0-0, and a draw was okay, but that win is vitally important. It pushes up the league table a couple of places, and now you start looking at it, instead of going, oh Christ, we're only 2 points off the bottom 3, you go, well, we're only 3 points off the top half now. So things change very quickly at this stage still, but that win, you can't underestimate how important that was this afternoon, for not only for the club but for Gerrard as well, to get off to that start.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was some decent performances. I thought Ramsey played quite well, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I thought McGinn probably bookended the game, started well and ended well.
I think McGinn's performance was reflective of Villa as a whole. I think he started well and ended well. The middle period, I don't really remember him doing a fat lot. I saw just before we started, someone said McGinn man of the match in the comments, and I was thinking, yeah, he had some good spells, but that middle section, I don't think he was great. But again, the whole team weren't brilliant really for the majority of that game. And we wanted to see a better performance. And I think, like we said, for the start and the end of the game, we have seen a better performance. But, everyone's saying, well, if we played better, but the result's not quite there, that's still encouraging. I kind of feel like the other way around now. The win was more important than the whole performance to an extent.
I think so, because, as the new manager, he wants his players and he wants the supporters to buy into what he's doing now. There wasn't that much. I don't know. We'll get Pat and the tactics heads to analyse it in more detail than us early next week. But there wasn't that much of a change. But how much of a change can there be after he's been there for a week? He's probably only held 2 training sessions with the whole group, because with everybody returning from international breaks. And it was a little bit flat. The people sitting around me at half time, and I was chatting to the guys around me and just saying that he can only deal with what he's got.
Yeah,
can't he really? We know he's limited in areas of the pitch. We know that Villa probably need another left back, possibly another centre half. We know they definitely need some midfield reinforcements. So to get a win, to conjure that up from a group that's been, fragile confidence with 5 defeats in a row, and to summon that up straight away, and to do it in a fairly understated way, I think. Gerrard there'll probably be times when Villa will play better than they did today, and the result won't go our way. But I think that the things that he's done so far have been very measured. You can see the guy's fiercely ambitious. We know that. We've known Steven Gerrard for the last 25 years. What he's the kind of winner and kind of competitor he is. But I don't know. I don't want to start eulogising him too much and overplay 3 points. But I like the cut of his jib. I like the fact that he can be statesman-like. He can be this real big, strong personality, but do it in this like I say, this measured, understated way. So, yeah, really, really cracking start. And a long may it continue.
Well, I'm firmly getting carried away. Villa tweeted a picture of him on full time, and I quote tweeted it saying, "Going to call my firstborn Stephen." I don't think the missus would agree with Stephen, and it's not a great name, but I'm all for Stephen Gerrard as my first child's name at some point.
Why don't you call it Gerrard? Gerrard Rowlinson, makes it's got a really kind of classy.
Did you know that the G in PGR for Pat Rowe stands for Gerrard?
That's bull. That is. He just made that up.
That's what he told me. I think it's only one R, but he said his parents always told him it was after Steven Gerrard. I don't know why. I don't think there's any Liverpool links in his family, but he told me the G stands for Gerrard. So
no, he said it stood for Gabby a couple of years ago. So he's just got an ever-moving middle name.
Yeah, I just offended potentially some part of the chat here. Someone just said, "Oh, my name's Stephen." I just said it's not a great name. Yeah, apologies for that. I just wouldn't pick it. Yeah, I like. This is such a. We'll try and go through the game in order, but I'm not going to hear his touchline mannerisms as well, or this touchline manner for the goals, his celebrations. I love all that. It's very kind of man down the pub to look at that and go, oh yeah, that's great. But that's what this part of the podcast is anyway. And yes, you want your football manager to be a good manager and be tactically astute and make good decisions and win football games. But him running down the touchline when we score a goal, that's what you want to see, is it, when you're in the stadium as a fan? His first celebration for the first goal, he turned around and he's fist bumping, and I'm down low Trinity anyway, and he's looking right at me, and I'm looking at him like, yes, I'm too fair.
The bromance has started. You'll be chasing him out the door if we lose a match.
I'm looking him straight in the eye. Me and Stephen are having a lovely connection. But
he waved to me actually, because I was high in the Trinity. So when he came down, there's three of us in this relationship.
But like we've seen things like that from Tim Sherwood previously, going back to managers for Mario, stuff like that, and you love all that. But Tim Sherwood was he wasn't a brilliant football manager, was he? Evidently, since he's not managed since, and you do need that blend of it. But that side of it, when he during the games, goal celebrations, and his manner on the touchline, I love all that. But he has got the other side of it, that in his post-match interview, he's completely serious and completely professional, and you can tell how much of a winner he is. And he seems to have, we've got a one-game sample at this point, but seems to have that perfect blend of. I feel like and it's getting way carried ahead of myself here, but I feel like already he gets the club. And I know I think you mentioned that maybe on the last episode, that he's got to start, he's got to understand what Aston Villa is and how much of a big deal it is to manage it. And I feel like he's got Villa already. I don't know how to explain how I feel like that, but just watching him today on the touchline, I'm watching him as much as the match at times. I just feel like he understands it already, what it takes to be Villa manager. And like you said, it could be all very different at the end of the season when we've been relegated. But today and today only, Steven Gerrard gets Aston Villa, I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to take, a few more results like that, and he'll probably get Aston Villa, and Aston Villa will probably get him. I just think he's a measured grown-up. And as a player, he got into a few scrapes, didn't he? And he's had to learn and mature as he's gone along. But he knows that to get a Premier League job, even with the name that he carries, I don't mean Stephen, I mean Steven Gerrard. He knows that to get a Premier League job at that age, it's a privilege and it's a big opportunity. So I don't think it's in his character to come out and give it the big one or whatever. It's a bit of a cliche, but actions speak louder than words, and he knows that whatever he says and does, if Aston Villa don't win enough football matches, that name will count for nothing. He'll just be another statistic, if you like, who's booted out of job quite quickly. So.
And like he said as well, it's very much easier for us to get carried away as fans on a podcast because in the euphoria of a win, because we're not won for 6 weeks. So, I'm going to drink in every moment of it. But he said, we need to be better. There's still things we need to fix. The next few training sessions will be absolutely crucial for what we need to do. And that's how he has to be. He's not going to get carried away with one win. He did mention the clean sheet, which I thought was a nice touch as well, because that's also important to him to kind of build from the back. Just going back to try and keep it in some kind of order. What did you think of the team lineup, by the way? Because I tweeted, I don't really know what else he could have done, to be honest, but, he wanted to go 4-3-3. Ings is back in there. Watkins out on the left. Midfield's very light. I wasn't even sure Nakambu would be available. What did you make of that lineup?
Again, what's he got to play with? Really, he could have perhaps left Watkins out and gone with Bailey potentially, or left Buendia out and gone with Bailey. Other than that, Sanson's back from Disneyland and he's not as
What with Sanson? I thought he was totally out, and then I get to Villa Park and realise he was strolling around on the pitch and on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know, but he wasn't going to start him, was he? Because he's clearly not fit enough to go from doing nothing to starting a game. So I don't know what he could have done in terms of changes. He probably could have played Ashley Young at left back, because to me, Matt Targett is still, short of confidence or whatever it is. He's still possibly the weak link.
I thought he was all right at times today.
Oh, listen, he was all right. I'm just thinking, what else could he have done?
Mm-hmm.
He could have made a couple of changes in those places. I was chatting with my nephews on the car on the way here, saying, "Well, what will he? He's obviously going to want a 3-man midfield."
There's only 3 players available, pretty much, isn't there?
McGinn's going to be it. We think that Jacob Ramsey will be it. So where does he go? We're saying, well, could he play Twanzebe in there and give him a go? And Nakamba was okay within the limitations of what Nakamba is.
I thought Nakamba was pretty good today. I thought he was good at the job he's asked to do, which is break up the play and pass it on to more talented attacking footballers. I think there was a few times he was given the ball with barely any space to do anything with it, and every time I kind of winced, thinking this isn't his game to ping little fast balls around. Break up the play and move it on and keep it simple. And I think he's very good at that, and he displayed that a few times today.
I think that's fine, but as a Premier League midfielder, that should be a given.
Of course. And the'll be nobody better than Steven Gerrard that knows what has to be in a midfield, and he'll know that midfield isn't good enough. If our aims are, and I think he said in his post-match today, I think the Sky Sports reporter said, what are your aims here? You've been competing for trophies and Rangers, etc. And he was like, the next aim is to win the next game. It's too early to set long-term expectations, but if the long-term expectation is to get back into Europe at some point, that midfield and probably some of the defence isn't good enough to do that. And, Gerrard will know that in time if he doesn't already. But like you said, what can he do as of right now? Nakamba is our best available defensive midfielder today, isn't he? And I thought he did well today. But like you said, in the limitations of what marvellous Nakamba is.
Yeah, I think what we'll find with Gerrard is that, we tell him on a management course at the moment, is I think he knows his own limitations. I think he knows his own limitations as well, which is why he's probably got the world's biggest backroom team. He's spoken about Michael Beale, hasn't he? Saying it would take him 20 years to learn to coach like Mike. And I think that's a sign of good management, that you don't think you've got to be able to do it all. You bring people around you, listen to people around you. A bit like me recruiting you, Dan, innit? Imagine you teaching me to try and even switch on a laptop that can edit video, let alone to. So, but,
there's somebody in the comments that asked whether support you. Somebody in the comments has asked whether you've smudged Vaseline on your webcam because you're so blurry, and I look very crisp in comparison.
It's got misty, moody lighting.
Say what it is. It's lighting. As a video professional, if that's what my job title is, lighting is important, and I've got good lights in this room, to be fair. But that's the difference between you and I, isn't it?
Well, you're the kind of the movie man, Michael Beale, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You know these things, so you have to come around and sort me lights. Have you noticed that I've done my top button up, by the way?
Lovely, yeah. Look, very smart.
And I can just about breathe as well. So so regular viewers of the show will know that my weight yo-yos quite a lot. So I've lost 1.5 stone from 6 or 7 weeks at Slimming World. So
really, 6 or 7 weeks, 1.5 stone?
Oh yeah. I've been starving myself.
I was going to say, what have you been doing? We're moving way off topic here, but how have you lost 1.5 stone in 6 weeks? Is it Villa losing for 6 weeks?
Yeah, just the stress of it. Yeah. Just starving myself, I'm sure there's better diets, but not eating now, just cutting out the crap, mate, really. Apparently, this multi-million-pound diet industry, if you eat less and you move more, the weight falls off and you do up your top button.
Yeah, very simple. A few people saying, clean your camera. Can you give it a wipe? It could just genuinely be fingerprints.
All I can do is bring this, can you fill for a minute?
I can have a go, yeah. I'll tell you what, I was going to ask you a couple of questions, but I'll ask the comments first. I want to know how you rated today's performance out of 10, because it's by no means perfect, but the result is the main thing at the end of the day. So if you're asking me, I would say a 6.5 or 7. I don't think for 50 or 60 minutes today we were brilliant. I don't think the forwards were particularly good, apart from Watkins' goal. I don't think he was doing a fat lot. Buendia also struggled. But you win 2-0 and you stop the rot, and that's the main thing. And I filled successfully. Comments 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7. Yeah, 6.5, 7 seems to be about the average. Have you just sprayed something on there?
No, where is my camera?
Okay.
Dan, you're the
It's
expert.
right in the
Where is
middle. It's literally right in the middle of the screen. How can you not see where the
that
webcam
light
is?
thing?
Yeah, next to that, just give it a quick rub with a tissue or something. Cutting edge journalism here on Carlton Blue. That
That
actually
better?
does look slightly better, yeah. I reckon it's just a dirty fingerprint on front of it.
Yeah,
It
well,
does look slightly better.
I was going to spit on my finger and rub it off like the way my mum used to clean my face when I was 5 years old. Horrible way, but I don't want to do it. I'm too. Actually, take the camera off me so I can lick my finger and do it without anybody looking.
Oh, God. What is going on here? All right.
Got any wipes in it? Go
And
on,
also,
anyway.
be quick. I'm asking you this question. How do you rate the performance out of 10 today?
I'm just cleaning my
I
camera.
know, I can see that.
That'll do. That's as good as it's going to get. Out of 10, 6.
The performance. Okay, 6.
6.5. Well, yeah, 6.5. 6.5.
Okay.
I think Villa can play better, but I also think it exposed where we need to be better with better players.
Exposed what? What do you think has been highlighted there as something that needs fixing?
I feel like I'm digging him out all the time. I feel that Steve Gerrard is going to want both his fullbacks to be a lot more energetic and marauding. I think we can do it in the right hand side of it.
Today. I thought Cash was a standout again, and I thought
I
think it was very good as well.
That's what I'm saying. I think we need Target to be. We need a left back that can be as energetic as forward moving. The thing, I don't turn this into digging out Matt Target. He's played in a defence that's kept a clean sheet and played reasonably well. Again, within the limitations of what he's got. But to me, you need somebody who, when the ball comes to them in forward areas, is on the front foot and ready to make positive decisions. I don't see that from him. Whether it's kind of Grealish withdrawal symptoms or what, I don't see that from him. And I think either the coaches need to work on that with him and get him better at that, or I think he's going to be the one who's possibly most vulnerable of losing his place.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Besides Matt Target, let's give him a break. Who else would you pick out as not being brilliant today? Because I can think of 2 off the top of my head, but I want to see what you say because your opinion is probably more important.
I don't think my opinion is any more important than yours. I don't think Ollie Watkins was brilliant today.
No, I don't. I said that while you were trying to find something to clean your camera with. If he had not scored today, like you said at the very start of this, when it was Ings that went off, I was surprised by that.
I didn't think Ings was brilliant either, but I thought of the two he was offering a bit more.
No, I agree. I suppose that one substitution changes 2 positions, doesn't it? Because you put Watkins up front and you bring the left winger on, so you affected 2 positions with one change, which does make sense. But yeah, it's the debate that will go on and on until they start scoring goals together. Do Ings and Watkins fit in the same team? Because Watkins doesn't look great on the left and Ings doesn't look great up front on his own either. Watkins looked far better up front on his own than Ings did. And we've got a proper winger on the left rather than Watkins out there. So
yeah, and
I don't know how you don't start all that. And Buendia was the other one. Again, I think you said a few weeks ago that you're just wondering whether we've got the Argentinian version of Carlos Hill, and it's a lazy analysis, isn't it? Because he's a small winger, but it just doesn't look brilliant yet. There's the odd spark here and there, but there was a moment where he tried a little flick or something. It was on the far side from where we sit. So I don't know what he was quite doing when he lost possession, when he should have just. It felt like he should have just took a touch and kept it simple. And there was a little stoppage in play after that. And Michael Beale was having a big discussion with him off the back of that. And he did seem to be, kind of kicked into gear a little bit after that. Somebody just said there he's trying too hard. I think it could be that. Every time he's come off, he's been punching the dugout or storming off and all these different things that you're seeing. And that's frustration in himself more than frustration with being substituted, I think. But he's got to do better, hasn't he, for a man that costs 38 million?
I think that's weighing heavily on him, because to me, and again, this is me being a miserable sod, but that's he's the most expensive player in Aston Villa. We've paid more for him than anybody ever, and
there is pressure. He's only a human being, isn't he? And he's still, he's still getting used to the league, and he's coming to sign for Dean Smith's Aston Villa, and 10 games later he's playing for Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa. He's not been fully fit. He's played on the right. He's played at 10. It's been very disjointed for him. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he can still come good, because the scouts don't recommend you sign somebody for 38 million if they're not anywhere near that level. So there's clearly a player in there. It's just I don't know how much longer we can wait for him to show how good he is, because we've kind of said if you don't work hard for this side, then I don't think Steven Gerrard will stand for that. And people said, oh, maybe Leon Bailey won't get into this side because he doesn't want to track back. And Buendia's work rate is good, and that probably will get him game time. If nothing else, he does work hard. But going forward, he hasn't quite got that spark about him yet, and I don't know how he gets that back until he plays himself into form. But when we're struggling to pick up points, we can't afford to have somebody playing in the forward area that's playing themselves into form. We need somebody to be good now. But that's the difficult problem for Gerrard and the coaching staff to deal with, not us.
Yeah, listen, he's got an impressive enough show reel, including in the Premier League, to suggest that he's not somebody that we've signed from a different league and all of a sudden the Premier League is going to overawe him. It shouldn't be that. There's a great little player in there. So
John here says excuses, Dan. But what do you put it down to then? What's the reason that this 38 million player that we've signed, that was ripping up the Championship and played well for Norwich in the Premier League for a spell when they were up the year before last or whenever it would be, he's a good little player, but it's just not happened for him at Villa yet, and you can't just put that down to that he's suddenly a rubbish player overnight.
I've had it before though, and this is with respect to Norwich, but we've had people come to Villa, and this is not me banging on Villa 1982 with the Kings of Europe Villa, but Villa's still a massive football club, and just probably a bad example, but we've had people like just trying to think, people like Sasa Churchic a long time ago that come from a Premier League also ran, if you like, and then just can't step up and deliver it at Villa. But you're right, Steven Gerrard will give him chances, but we're going to have Traore, who will eventually be fit. Trezeguet will be fit. El Ghazi, came on, I thought did well for 10 minutes while he was on the pitch today. We've got Leon Bailey, who, like Buendia, is hopefully there's more to come. So there's going to be options there. So it's going to be a case of you step up, or you're not going to be playing much football. But he has been very disappointing so far.
Yeah, still too early to rate the new signing, says Des, because of the many interruptions with Smith changing formations and international breaks. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I don't think any of the new signings have particularly done a lot yet. So, you're willing to give him time because it's now under a new manager, but it is a tough fixture list coming up in the next few weeks. There's a question from Thomas, I think it was. Thomas Linton, who says, thoughts on the atmosphere recently at Villa Park? I thought it was flat for 83 minutes again. Yeah, I agree. I thought 5 minutes before kick-off and the last 15 minutes were the best spells, and the opening 10 minutes was pretty good, but then that reflects the performance. It was a drab 0-0 for most parts of the game, and the players have to get delivered as well, don't they?
Villa Park, I think that the whole team have to do too much of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I think, and I was sitting the top. It's hard, isn't it? How do you start a chant on your own? Because I'd sing all game if I could, but if I'm the only one, I'm a bit like, in the middle of a town centre and you've got some kind of preacher who's just kind of speaking to himself while everybody gets on about the business.
It's good when it gets going and everyone's into it, but, like you said, if it's only the whole end, it doesn't really spread. It is difficult. Martin says the atmosphere is down to nervousness. Did you feel like we looked nervous at any point today? I think that's a good word for it.
Not as nervous as we did. I know we played different opponents, but in the first half an hour at Southampton or the first half an hour at Arsenal, not as nervous as that. I think that Villa burst out the blocks and played with a bit of momentum. And like I said, we got John McGinn, who was barging into people and sticking his kind of renowned backside into people for the first 10 minutes and had that momentum. And then when Brighton said, okay, that's fine, we're going to take the sting out of it, we're going to slow the game down, we're just going to play possession football, Villa were like, oh, that's all we got for now. And they had to kind of remind themselves to find that level and find that intensity again, I think, really. So I think that did affect the crowd to a degree, but like I say, I think there's more of a responsibility on. We always say, don't it? It's two ways. If the players show enough, the fans will get behind them. If the fans, show enough, it will lift the players. And I do think it's derailed, hasn't it? The plan of what we expected this season to be, as nobody, if you'd have said at the back end of last season, and we know that last season tailed away, but you'd have gone into this season thinking, oh, we've got Jack Grealish, Dean Smith, we're gonna improve in all these areas, and we're gonna kick on again. And we've had to readjust several times across the course of the last few months, and so we're not going to be full pelt. We're not going to be all off our seats all the time. But I do think, like I said, that that everybody's got a responsibility. I'd love to see a chant properly started in the Trinity or North Stand or the Whitton Lane, but I don't know whether that's ever been the case. I think we've always taken our lead from the Holt, to be honest.
Yeah, as far as I can remember, it's always been that way. But you do notice it from time to time where you think, it's pretty quiet in here now. Like, what's going on? There's the Brighton fans sing up about, where's the where's the famous atmosphere or something like that. I seem to hear at some point, which was a strange one I've not heard before, unless I've heard it wrong, which is absolutely fair. I know we only usually do half an hour on these, but there's still a couple of things I wanted to go through. Tyrone Mings is a discussion in the comments as ever. Obviously dropped under Smith in one of the last couple of games that he had, comes back in. There was a lot of talk about dropping him from the captain, selling him, all these things that we had on the last podcast that we did when Gerrard was first announced. Gerrard obviously sticks with him, names him captain again today, scores the second goal to see out the game on the 89th or whatever it was. Decent finish, to be fair, on his right foot.
Great finish for a centre half with his wrong foot on the move.
That's his first goal for England now. His first goal of this season, I think. I could be wrong there though, unless. I don't think he scored. No, did he? I don't know. But even so, a week where he scored for England, he scored for Villa. So again, just your thoughts quickly on Mings, because from a defensive point of view as well, it's not just the goal that will boost his rating a bit this week. I thought defensively he looked good as well.
Yeah, there was Brighton fans gave him a little bit of stick, didn't they? I think there was a time where he miscontrolled the ball and then panicked and stuck it out for a throw-in rather than or tried to put it down the line. I noticed that I was going to ask, I'll get to this and ask people in the comments in a minute, but about the differences that we noticed about Villa today. I was going
to ask you that as well. That's interesting.
I thought Mings didn't rely as much on the big long ball down the line today. I thought he tried to tuck it into target or get it moving into one of the midfielders a little bit more. So that was one of the differences I noticed in Tyrone Mings' game. Thought he was solid for the most part. I don't think he was overly worked, to be honest. There was my lad plays centre half, so I tried to get him to watch, and learn from centre halves. And there's one time where he took like an 80-yard ball on his chest, which I thought he was going to head it clear, and he just killed it on his chest. I thought, I like that. That was good. But no, I thought generally he was sound. I think there was a couple of moments. Like I said, when Martinez had to, I thought Martinez was back to the Martinez of old as well.
A couple of good saves. Again, I've not seen them back, but the first one in particular felt like it was right at him, but he still reacted quickly to get something on it anyway. A couple of good saves from him to keep
that was from Trossard, wasn't it? I think that he was straight at him, but there's another one that he
still got to save it though. Somebody tweeted me saying something like, but Brighton was still poor today. It's like, well, but 2 weeks ago, we still have lost that somehow. We'd have found a way to lost against a poor side. You're not going to make these excuses to say, oh, well, it's only Brighton, it was only this, it was only that. You win, and you move on. And that's how Gerrard pretty much said, next game, we got to win.
Yeah, he's just back on Martinez. The save from Lamptey that he made, I've just watched it back when I came home, and brilliant. Just races off his line, denies him all kinds of space, and then makes himself big, sticks up a hand and gets it away. Can we chat about the referee?
Quickly, there's a comment here from a guy called Arachnophilia who says, Burnley scoring more goals than Villa, that's depressing. Is it? We won 2-0. Somebody just said about Smith winning with Norwich as well, and that's good that he won and we won. Don't care. We've scored less goals than Burnley today. We've won a game 2-0. Why can't people be happy?
I think they are. I think generally from what we've had in the last couple of weeks, you can't really fail to be happy. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, can't fail to be happy. Let's have a moan about the ref.
Yeah, the referee, poor. I don't get it with the referees. The penalty shout wasn't at one stage. I don't know who it was. I think Cash went down for one, but I think there was another opportunity as well. Don't think there was much on it. The players didn't seem to appeal for it, and then VR look at everything, don't they? So there there was a bit
Why
of
have
a
they stopped
breaking
telling
point.
us that VAR are checking
I think-
stuff now?
I don't know. I don't know whether. I think when they say we're checking it, it's because it's a serious chance that there's something wrong there. But when they don't say they're checking
How
it,
do they know
it's
until they've
obvious.
checked it?
No, because they watch it. They watch it in real time, don't they? So they'll have seen it and thought, "Nah, there was no chance there." Quickly seeing a replay in the 7 seconds or so it takes to get the ball back in play. And if there was something where they go, "Well, that's not quite right," they say, "All right, we're checking VAR now." So I don't think there was much of that, to be honest.
You know what annoys me as well, and it's always been the case when they show controversial moments back on the big scoreboards and on the big screens, and then they cut it just before.
Yeah.
You think, why? What are we going to do? We're all going to riot.
I genuinely think that's probably is the reason. Probably don't want to cause crowd.
Well, don't let us in at all, then.
Yeah, maybe it's just I don't want to. I suppose if the players see it on the pitch and go, "Look, we're just seeing it back. It was a penalty," and then they all cry the ref and undermines the referee or whatever. So
yeah, it just seems
I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the blackout that they can't show. I know it's in the stadium. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is.
I think they stuck it behind a paywall on Villa TV Plus.
You know what's strange about that? Just very quickly, and this probably says more about me than anything, but I watched more of Norwich's Dean Smith content than I did of Steven Gerrard's Villa content because Norwich's stuff was free on YouTube and I just saw it pop up Dean Smith's first day or something. I was like, oh, that's semi-interesting. And I watched it and it was good. And then Villa have done a press conference that I had to pay $1.99 for, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, but that's why me and you are on this, though, isn't it, mate? Rather than our designer suits and part of the Villa marketing team. You know what I mean?
Good point. Just on the referee, they just don't control the games. There's so many times where Brighton were time wasting in the first half, and you think, Christ, if we go 1-0 down here, they're going to be horrific in the second half. But I think their left back got a booking on 60 minutes or something, and it's like they could have had a couple of bookings in the first half for niggly fouls like that. So referees just don't control it. That's then just so inconsistent as well.
My biggest moan about the ref today was, and it probably happened straight from in front of where you sit. Matty Cash has gone and cleared out one of their players with a perfect tackle, just won the ball, but just absolutely, just a proper tackle. And so Anthony Taylor, it's not a foul. He can't give a foul because it's not a foul. He doesn't give a foul. He gives a throw in to Brighton, and then he goes and has a word with Matty Cash to almost caution him against it. Well, what are you saying to me?
I think that's because he's kicked the ball away.
Is he?
He's knocked the ball off. He's gone out for a throw and he's knocked the ball off the advertising boards and it's gone back into the middle of the pitch. I think that's what he's doing.
In that case, then Anthony Taylor, immaculate decision. I thought he just had a word with him.
There was a couple of people around me going, "Oh, it's a great tackle, ref. What are you doing?" And I thought it's because he's knocked the ball away in frustration, knowing that it's already gone out for throwing anyway. That's how I saw it. I'll obviously get things very wrong sometimes, but that's how I thought it. Because I thought, it's a perfectly good tackle.
I apologise.
The one thing I was going to ask you when you said about things that have changed the most, I'm interested to hear your answer. But my first thought was, and again, this might be reading too much into little tiny moments, but we seem to be better in 50-50 balls and 50-50 challenges, I felt. And there was one moment that highlighted why I thought we were better. I don't know whether, I think it was in the Canberra or Ramsey went in for one and just didn't bottle it, but they had a good chance of winning it and they didn't. And Gerrard's there and he's hammering his hand to him, going, get him. Basically just hit him. if you've got a 50-50, win it. That's important. Get possession back. Stop the play. Break things down. And I felt like we were better at that generally in that first 15 and last 15. The press was good and we were in there and in their faces. It's just hard to keep that up consistently throughout the game. I thought there's been occasions where we've come on these and thought, so and so had a good chance to win the ball there, and they were just soft and let things go. Whereas there was a few times where I noticed, Mings has gone flying in there, Cash has gone flying in, and they've got to be careful with it, but be in their faces, get the crowd roared up into action. Those little moments do matter. It's such a tiny thing to point as a difference, but that's how I felt.
No, but it's just about intensity, isn't it? Because
show that you care.
Yeah, Villa have got probably not as good a squad as we thought at the start of the season, but they've got a very talented bunch of players, but they're not good enough in all the areas of technical ability to outplay, outpass, outthink a lot of the teams, above them, unless they play with that intensity. So when things were slowed down and Brighton slowed the game down, what had Villa got? that's why they need to. It's hard. I think one of Gerrard's biggest tasks is to make sure this group of players are fit enough, in terms of trying. I don't know what he can do about this necessarily, but we've had a lot of injuries, a lot of niggly injuries. So we can get our top 13, 14 players on the pitch, not at the same time, although it'd be nice. Get them on the pitch routinely, but equally that they can be fit enough in terms of being able to play that high pressing, high tempo game. And I don't think we're going to see anything like that until, I don't know, probably even next summer, to be honest, because I think it's going to take him that long to drill them into his way of working, and there's going to be some collateral damage along the way. I think we could sign a couple of players in January, 2 or 3 players in January, and then another 4 or 5 in the summer.
Yeah. Someone just said I saw Gerrard pray as a player after conceding a free kick. He just wants more passion. But like I said earlier when I talked about him, his goal celebrations and having that passion on the sideline, I feel like that does make a difference as a fan. I'm watching it, and when you see, I start off the top of my head, Jose Mourinho, they score a goal and he cuts to him on the touchline. He's sat in his seat and you wouldn't know whether his side just scored or conceded. I don't want to see that. And Mourinho might be an elite manager or whatever, but forget that for now. Just from a personality point of view, I want to see him, all the coaches together. They were celebrating together. The togetherness looks there already. Big fist bumps, getting angry on the touchline. I want to see a bit of emotion, a bit of intensity that you care. It's a very basic thing, but something simple like that goes a long way, I think.
Yeah, I like the fact he put a bit of a sprint on as well when he left the pitch.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
took the acclaim and then still got a decent engine on him.
Yeah. Do you think he's picked those kind of things up from Klopp? Getting him to go over to the whole end and that kind of thing, because that's the kind of thing that players do anyway. And Smith's probably got them to go over and applaud the fans and stuff. But first game, all eyes have been on Gerrard. He's been the story, hasn't he? Not the players, and that's probably taken a bit of pressure off the players to a certain extent. And then they go and win for him, which is the perfect scenario, really. But he knows he's the story. All the cameras are on him and everything. Calmly tells them to go and celebrate in front of the whole end, thank them, applaud them, and he just kind of held back on the halfway line, and then, like you said, I had a little jog off to do his post-match stuff.
Yeah, I think we said, didn't we, when he'd just been appointed, that we both watched that. We did a bit of homework and watched that Jake Humphries interview that he gave, where he was talking about, give me everything and I'll have your back, I'll protect you, and I think there was a little sign of that today. Just, I don't know whether you learn that from Klopp or whatever manager he's played under, or whether that's just his personality coming through. But it was like a parent kind of ushering, or a school teacher after a Christmas play going, go on then, go and take your bows. Go on, well done. And I think it was nice because, showing that he's supporting them, but equally showing that he doesn't want to go and be, if that was Tim Sherwood, he'd have been at the front of the queue and said, come on, lads, come behind me, lift me up and throw me around. But Gerrard knew the importance of the connection with the crowd, but also knew his place, that he's got to earn that probably a little bit, and he probably feels that. He's spoken respectfully about Dean Smith, hasn't he? Saying that it's going to take time to kind of build this kind of bond. It's just really nice, Dan, to be able to chat to you in happy circumstances for a change.
Yeah. What do you think Gerrard would have been feeling like before that game coming out from that tunnel? And he's, we don't know him as a person, but I'm just asking you to speculate here. Because we've both talked about John Gregory being the last manager to win, and he tells that story about coming out of the tunnel for the first time, wondering whether he's even going to get any applause from the Villa fans, and feeling kind of nervous going out there. And that might be some parallels with that scenario, that Dean Smith was well liked here. We've not fallen out with the previous manager like in previous seasons. There'll be still some people, maybe not after a win today, but that were going, is Steven Gerrard a better manager than Dean Smith? Have we done the right thing here? And kind of feel a little bit sore about the fact that Smith's no longer there. If I was Steven Gerrard, I'd be thinking, I feel a bit apprehensive here that maybe this crowd aren't going to support me from minute one here. But he got a great reception and looked pretty calm and considered, really. He didn't seem to get too carried away with it, but gave a little nod and applause, and I thought it was
listen, he's played in some big football matches, and he's managed a big football club in Rangers, so I think he'd have been nervous. I think in his press conference, he was nervous. I think as much as the Liverpool thing defines him, oh God, there's 20p in the swear box for saying that word. As much as that defines him, he's very respectful of, who other than that set of supporters. Who wants to hear it? Nobody particularly.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of journalists who ask him about it, but he's the manager of Aston Villa now, and I think he feels that I might be wrong, and I can't pretend to know Steven Gerrard, but I think he feels that anything that he does at Anfield or has done, that's fine. His name is enough to carry him, but I think he's gone into management thinking, my name's not enough to carry me. It might have got me a big opportunity. It's got him some big opportunities. I'll grant him that, but I think he feels that I can't. I'm not just going to survive on being who I am. I've got to earn the respect of people, whether that's players, whether that's fans. And I don't know. I just think, like I said before, I'm at risk of repeating myself, but he's just very, very measured individual. He just wears this winning mentality really, really well. And I think, I hope the players will warm to that.
Yeah. Just to end then, are you having a beer tonight? I know you're on your Slimming World or whatever you're doing. What are you having a beer?
Well, I am. That's my only concession. I'd rather starve myself all week just so I can have a beer at the end of the week. And my son's lad who comes to Villa with us, I was in a bit of a strop this morning for some reason. So his dad's bought me a couple of Punk IPAs to say, here you go.
Lovely.
Thanks for taking our Jack to the game. Here's some beers. So win-win, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't really care whether you're on a beer or not. I was just doing this as a cute segue into the fact that I got sent some free beer mats. I think you've got a pack as well, I think, from Aston Brewing Company. I've got them in front of me now. I've given some to my dad as well. But yeah, I've got them here, which are nice. So thank you very much for them sending them. The one I like the most, actually, just in terms of a design, probably the player that's least popular at the moment, I like the Buendia one. I think that's nice. I'm pretty sure you've got a pack of these, and I'm not just being silly here showing these off to you. But if you are having a beer tonight,
I haven't opened mine yet, so I'll if they've arrived, I'll go and get them. Mentioning you're giving a pack to your dad, and I got a wave off your dad today as well. That was another highlight from today's game.
Yeah, he texted me eerily during the game, or just before the game, so I can see you, and I was like, oh no, where are you? And I turned around. I was saying I was looking for the big bald head shining back at me, and I spotted you. So yeah, lovely stuff. So if you do, I think you can buy these, by the way. So if you're watching this and are interested in them, Aston Brewing Company. Sorry, should get my plug right if I'm going to do it. So go and have a search them if you want to buy them. There's a Leon Bailey one here as well, which is lovely.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think they've done a couple of packs. I've got Peter Weir and Dino and all sorts. Yeah,
we're not on commission for these, by the way.
No, we don't get anything for it. It's just a nice.
We do get free beer mats.
Yeah, that's true. Shane says, is Matt using an iPhone 4 for the camera? Yeah, we've already established his camera quality isn't great. We don't know why. But yeah, we'll call it a day there. We normally do half an hour post-match, but we've done 45 minutes, but it is the Steven Gerrard Appreciation Podcast. Matt, thank you very much for your time, as always.
Thank you. I'm going to undo this button now. I can't believe it.
Thanks to all the comments for helping steer the conversation from time to time. And the 623... Bloody hell, I'm just going to leave you to it. And thanks to the 624 people now that have been watching along live. We do appreciate your time, as always, on a Saturday evening. We'll be back on Monday or Tuesday to have a bit more in-depth statistical, analytical looks at the game from Pat, James, Ash, whoever's around. It won't be you and me again because we've done our bit now. And yeah, we'll be back again Saturday 27th when we play Crystal Palace for our post-match chat. Hopefully another 3 points for Gerrard's Villa. And it's also the day after my birthday. So if Villa are looking for a birthday gift for me, 3 points against Palace would be good. Matt, thanks for your time. How old am I? I'll be 26 this year. Tough paper round, I know.
Blimey. Yeah.
Get me a gift.
Okay.
Are you getting me a gift? Are you getting me a gift? Actually,
yeah.
My birthday also will be 3 years of the podcast because we started it on my birthday in 2019. So
got you some beer mats, mate. You can.
Oh, lovely! Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for watching the Claret and Blue podcast. I'm Dan Robertson, joined by Matt Kendrick. We'll be back next week. Thank you very much for watching, and up the Villa, up the Gerrard.
Villa.
Thank you for listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode, but until then, up the Villa.